And here with a Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Uperfect P2 portable touchscreen 4K monitor. Now this is a 15.6-inch panel. It retails for $699 US, so it is expensive, and if you're wondering why, it's because it should have, at least per the manufacturer, one of the best IPS panels right now that you can find. Again, UHD resolution with touchscreen and 100% of the Adobe RGB color space. So if this really is as color accurate as Uperfect is signaling, then this is going to be a really interesting portable display for those of you looking for, again, 4K with a touchscreen. And it comes in at roughly 2 pounds, 1500 to 1 contrast ratio, I believe 350 nits of brightness, so it's not the brightest panel on the market, but again, from a portable monitor standpoint, I think the only way, if this is as color accurate as represented, then the only way you're going to get better color accuracy is with an OLED panel. And those generally right now, they're just starting to become available in a portable monitor form factor like this, and they are more expensive than this, as you might imagine. So let's go ahead and open this up. Again, it is expensive, but we should be getting what we pay for here. Uperfect generally in the past has been really good. Overall, one of the better portable monitor manufacturers on the market, no question about that. And build quality here is no exception. It seems really solid. It does have a built-in 90-degree kickstand where all the ports are. No built-in battery, for those of you wondering. So this is similar to previous generations in terms of build quality. The last 4K touchscreen that I reviewed from them looked very similar to this. I'll get to the balance of what's in the box in a moment. Let's take a look at the monitor itself. So right here on the kickstand, which I believe, so as opposed to the old design, which would essentially fold out from here, we now have basically a traditional kickstand, and I think this is a better design than the previous generation of this display. Power button, Type-C port, audio jack. This does have 2 speakers on board as well. The kickstand, which, as I mentioned, has a 90-degree range, seems pretty solid. And then on this side, we have a mini HDMI as well as 2 more Type-C ports. And that's because you're going to use one for dedicated power, the other for your video input, and the other one is for general connectivity, to my knowledge. So we're going to see how this works out. I mean, this can self-power depending on the device you hook up to it. The speakers, I believe, are built into the kickstand. I'm looking for them. I think these are the 1-watt speakers right here. And build quality seems excellent. I mean, I really do think this is one of the sharper looking panels you're going to find. Now, when it comes to navigating the menus, I am not seeing anything for that. So this will be interesting. I guess they're just relying on touchscreen. So let me go ahead and put that down. And again, Uperfect, I've already handled monitors of theirs in the past. I actively use one. They make really nice products. So we've got a user manual, of course, right out of the gate. And by the way, 60 Hertz is the standard refresh on this, but they do claim there is overclocking on this that at least it appears represents 120 Hertz. So if this is capable of 120 Hertz with overclocking, then could be ideal for gaming as well. But you can see right here in the manual 100% Adobe as well as 100% sRGB, but that's pretty much a given. And then, as I mentioned before, Type-C OTG port, Type-C port ×2, and mini HDMI. So they're really giving you a lot more connectivity, really a port more, because that's a third Type-C port, the OTG, so that this way you can connect storage, I imagine. Which is nice. And then the on-screen, I mean, I'm going to see what all of this is like. We'll also be testing what can power this directly on its own as opposed to what will need dedicated power with the adapter that's included here. Now, they give a laptop model range in terms of support with Apple, the MacBook 12, all the way up to the 2018, the iPad Pro 2018, Google Chromebook, it says Pixels, I think they mean Pixel Book Pen, and the Magic Book. Lenovo, Yoga C930, the 5 Pro, the 6 Pro, ThinkPad X1 Carbon. They give you a pretty detailed list. HP, they somehow have the Surface Book in there. So it's a little bit all over the place with the laptop models, but pretty much if you have Type-C, it's going to work. It says right here, they're making mention of Thunderbolt. So we'll see how that works, because Thunderbolt connection, obviously connectivity should give you power delivery without issue. Other Type-C connections, because they're not designed to be power delivery, but they do passive, low voltage power delivery, may or may not work, is what it really comes down to. Samsung S8, S8 Plus, S9, S9 Plus, S10, S10 Plus, S10e, Note 8, Note 9. So this looks like it needs to be a little bit updated, because I imagine all of the current Samsung phones are going to work with it. But they're letting you know that 4K does require more voltage, generally speaking. They're showing it being used with consoles. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works. And I don't know about Windows 11 support, but obviously the majority of you will be using this with Windows 10. Now, something Uperfect's always good about, cables. So these aren't labeled, but I can tell what we're looking at. Type-C to Type-C, Type-C to Type-C, Type-C to Type-A, and then last but not least, the mini HDMI to full-size HDMI. So they cover all the possible cable needs that you're going to have with this monitor. And then last but certainly not least, the power brick, because as I've mentioned, no internal battery, and there are going to be times when you absolutely will need to connect this directly to a power supply. So here is your wall adapter, which looks like this can be adapted for travel in the event you want to. This looks like it pops off, so you can put on an adapter for whatever region you're in. Of course, Type-C output right there, and this is, I'm just looking to see the wattage on this. 30 watts. I should have saw that immediately, but it's a 30-watt adapter. So you can also use this to charge up your phone of choice, whatever it may be. And that's the idea, is that with that additional Type-C port, I believe you're going to be able to charge devices too. So pretty nice. Let's just see if I go ahead and I'm going to connect my Z Fold 3, and we'll see what we get out of this right now. I think that's a good idea, just as a test. Let's see what we get. I should have a Type-C cable here. I have a Thunderbolt cable. Let's see if that works. Let's just see if the Z Fold 3 can power this. So there we go. And put that aside, and let's bring the monitor over. Now, I believe, well, we'll see if this works. We're going to find out. I think that is for power delivery, or that actually is the secondary Type-C port. So I think we're going to have to go to the other side of the unit. And let's just try one of those and see what we get out of this, okay? There we go. It is detecting it. Let's see if that powered on. Yes, I see a green light. It says it's connected. So the question is, oh, it disconnected pretty quickly. So let's see if I take my phone over here, if it's giving me a prompt on this. So it's connecting and disconnecting. Now, I'm not using one of their included cables, so that could be at play, no question about that. And we're going to have to find out. But in all likelihood, it needs dedicated power, is what it seems like. So we'll do that. I'll give it dedicated power. We'll test it out. We'll see how it's going. Again, this was really just an unboxing and a first look, but I like the form factor. The kickstand, I think, is great. I think that's a big change up from the previous generations, where it was on the bottom and folded out, essentially like that, which a lot of them do. The last monitor from them that I covered was really gaming themed, but doesn't have this sort of build quality and doesn't have the color gamut represented that this one encompasses. So a lot to like here, but I've got to put it through the paces, right? But there's that range of motion. Again, pretty solid. Nice looking product. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.